Here's a question from Michael. Does Jim know why they assigned Heyman to Brock Lesnar when he went to the main roster? Hard to imagine them not being linked now after all these years.
Well, yes. I mean, that it was even more important then than it is now because Brock was still new. He was still green. He needed somebody not only setting up things for him or, giving him pointers or tips or advice or whatever, but somebody that would also be at ringside to maybe throw in a comment or two, but just the same thing that Heyman does for a lot of guys in that position is try to hide their greenness, cover up their weaknesses, and accentuate their strengths. So that was perfect because remember, Brock started in OVW, was not a natural, as we've talked about many times, natural pro wrestler, especially not next to Shelton, because Shelton had been a fan and was a freak. But also did Brock pull strings to get out of Louisville early and go back home to Minnesota. Like his previous girlfriend was pregnant or whatever. That was his excuse. And he ended up training some with Brad Reagans in a barn. So he really, when they brought him up there, he still had a ways to go as far as figuring out how to think about the business. Now he's got it. But that was 20-something years ago, and he had not been in a ring with every major star up to that time at that point. So, he needed somebody to guide him in the proper way.
Were you surprised that it worked out so well? Personally and professionally?
Well, I mean, I never would have thought that Brock and Heyman would have ended up good friends because Brock hates people. And while I know that Paul recognized the incredible financial benefit of being associated with Brock Lesnar, I didn't think he could tolerate a fucking, cowboy from Saskatoon or whatever. They're completely different people. But I knew it would work out professionally because it's a perfect combination. I didn't know they'd get to be bosom buddies. Alrighty then, let us move forward now with more part of the entertainment of the programming here. I got an email, Brian, from my old friend Ken from up in what part of Pennsylvania? He's up there. He's up around the Pennsylvania area.
Upper Pennsylvania?
Up around the Pennsylvania. Could be lower, could be eastern, could be western. And after all, what is Pennsylvania but Philadelphia on one end, Pittsburgh on the other end, and West Virginia in the middle? But he said, and this brings up something that's interesting in the way that more modern fans think about something as compared to the fans or modern guys compared to the fans and the guys of the old days. He says, I was watching an SD Jones match on YouTube. Right there was his first mistake. And of course, there was the spot where the heel slams SD's head into the turnbuckle, which he doesn't sell. Jesse Ventura comments, well, that won't work on SD.
As a mother-daughter-owned company, Organically Kismet specializes in the manufacturing of full-spectrum Seamoss gel. All the way from St. Lucia to your kitchen counters, we bring you an incredible product that is handcrafted and hand-poured with tons of love and intention by a team of beautiful women. Within each jar, you will...
I started thinking about how, I guess, for lack of a better word, racist it was in wrestling before the modern era. As many black and Samoan wrestlers could not be heard when their cranium was under attack. So many used the headbutt as a finisher. SD Jones, Skip Young, Bobo Brazil, Tony Atlas, Afa Sika, Samoan SWAT team, etc. What was the background on this, and were the black and Samoan wrestlers pissed about the stereotype?
Bart Dimberton.
Well, for the background of the idea of a headbutt in pro wrestling, now that we know the modern fighting styles. People actually headbutt in
Yes,
fights.
here I am,
depending
player.
on the context and what kind of fight
I'm gonna
you're
be
having.
Triley.
Pro or amateur, whatever,
Slowly
headbutts
changing
are
my
a
sleep
thing.
schedule.
But yes, it is
I'm Mark Dimmerton.
racist stereotype that black people have hard heads. I
Yeah.
don't know how far that goes back, but that was a stereotype. And obviously, in wrestling, one would think that that was the reason why that so many black guys, Bobo Brazil wasn't the first, but he probably, because he was the nationally known black baby face that everybody
You
knew and
bastard.
loved and used the headbutt as a finish, that he would have popularized it. But it goes back to, I'm sure, the 30s and probably farther than that. So, yes, there is a racist underpinning, or a racist origin to black
Player,
guys
we have like the
using
same amount of
headbutts or
boring.
not selling the head into the turnbuckle.
What did he
or
expect?
whatever. But as far as whether they would be pissed about it, this is the thing, Brian. And either the fans or the guys will go, "Oh, bullshit." Bobo Brazil didn't give a shit. Bobo Brazil, if you had gone to Bobo Brazil and said, "Bobo, I know your finish is over. Instead of the cocoa nut, it was the cocoa butt. I know your finish is over, but it's racist and we want you to change it. Do something else." He would have said, "Wait a minute. I got the easiest finish in the wrestling business. I can do it to anybody. There's literally almost zero chance of injury unless I really headbutt the guy. I don't have to pick anybody up. I don't have to fall down. Are you out of your fucking mind?" That's the thing. It was business. I mean, seriously.
I can't even imagine. I can't even. Hey, Bobo, one thing. Drop the cocoa butt.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean?
And I mean to say, for a lot of those guys that used it, it worked for them, and it was easy. And it was easy on the opponent, and it was a business. You weren't trying to do the prettiest, most dangerous, most athletically thrilling thing ever seen. You were trying to get one move that you could do to anybody over.
Wait, you're a
pop
junkie.
on when you did it. Now, as for the Samoans, I don't think it's a stereotype that they had. I've never met a Samoan or a native of the Pacific Islands that the first thing I would think of to do if I was forced to fight one of them would have been hit him in the head. I don't know that that's a stereotype. I don't know in the Samoan culture if that's considered offensive or whatever, but I wouldn't try it. And so, I mean, that's probably something that they just said, "Well, fuck, if I was mad at a guy, I'd just hit him in the goddamn head with my head." But I'm willing to be corrected on that if that's also offensive in the Samoan culture.
We have an email here, Jim, from Samoa, from Softhead Sam. Says we're not all the same.
There was that problem when they weren't getting enough calcium in the coconut milk back in the 50s, and an entire generation was born with soft heads. We do apologize for the error.
I mean, guys still use the headbutt. It's not like it's gone away, right? I mean, Jacob Fatu headbutts people, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, and he's Samoan. All the Samoans headbutt people. Now, I don't recall, now that it's been brought up, because it wasn't something that was just weighing heavily on my mind, I don't know a bunch of the black wrestlers of today are using the headbutt. I know a bunch of the white ones that you wouldn't look at and say, "Well, I think he has a preternaturally hard head." They're using it because it's cool. It's like, Dick the Boozer will headbutt you. It looked like shit, but
it is interesting, though. It is something that a lot of black wrestlers used for a long time, and then it just went away. And, as you were talking about this, I'm thinking of the current wrestlers, and I can't think of anyone using the headbutt. At some point, it went from everyone was doing it to no one does it.
Pause. For the Fat Classic first-timers, they don't know that nearly half of all used cars have been in an accident. But Carfax shows how accidents impact price. Shop the all-new Carfax.com.
But see, that with Jacob Fatu and Solo,
Well, yeah, I can't let the
Safeway,
hate you store
I think
make up
they do
this
too
decision
many because they'll just
what
put
I
guys down in front of
will
them.
do.
They'll just like headbutt him 5 times real quick, and the guy's selling already, but the perpetrator is not really registering anything. And that just, to me, that's a lazy transition. With Jacob, if he grabbed a guy like the guys that used to use it for a fucking finish in the left hand with the back of the guy's head and drew back and bam, and one headbutt, and the guy takes a big bump. And Jacob makes a little funny face and he goes about his business. That would have so much more impact, but they just use it as kind of a transition thing now.
Well, let me say something that you may not agree with. With the rare exception, and the one I can think of is the Dynamite Kid, who at times I saw really lay it in, or at least it looked like it. But I hate the diving headbutt. I just don't think it looks good, and I think it's something that needs to be explained to someone who doesn't always watch wrestling, and maybe it makes sense to that fan, but it just looks like a slow-moving head to the shoulder. At times it doesn't even look like it comes near the head. And I just never thought, that was the one thing, I really like Harley Race, but that was the one thing I always thought looked like shit.
Yeah, well, Harley was trying to go forehead to forehead, but do it safely, and there was still, you couldn't do it at full speed.
Right.
You know, a guy like Benoit or somebody that came off the top with that kind of velocity, and he was doing some kind of damage to something, I could buy that.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. But a lot of the guys that just, like you said, just do it and land in the general vicinity or, whatever. It's an example of 1 or 2 or 3 guys get something over. It looks good when they do it, or it looks appealing to the modern generation. Then everybody tries to do it and people see through. That's kind of the same thing with the headbutt. Ronnie Garvin was excellent with the standing. I used to call them the flipper headbutts, where he would just free, without holding your head, just freestanding, he'd jump up and headbutt you, and he had a good eye for it. And it looked pretty fucking good, but he looked like Flipper up in the air. I'd be at ringside, they call him Flipper!
If you ever talk to WWF fans from like 82 or 83 who got to go to live shows or specifically smaller shows, the most disappointing thing in the world was when the snooker match would end with like a headbutt from the second rope. As opposed to the Superfly splash. The guy would be down, you'd be like, oh, he's going to do the splash. And instead he would go like halfway and just do the headbutt.
Well, that was his spot show finish. Because that's, again, even if it's a guy's trademark move, then you can't do the Superfly splash 320 times a year off the top rope over a period of 5 or 10 years straight. And that's another reason why Bobo Brazil wouldn't have wanted you to take away his headbutt. Because you could do that, but a lot of those guys realized that, there's no way I can do this. I'll do the splash in the garden. Do the splash the big show. I can't fucking do that 320 times a year or I'll cripple myself. Which the Dynamite Kid did it 320 times a year and crippled himself.
If you were booking a wrestler who had a really crazy looking forehead, would you tell him to do the headbutt? Like, let's use your disformity.
Yes, well, no, they were like King Curtis. That fucking, remember that head? He used to headbutt Duke Myers. Duke Myers had a goddamn head the size of a fucking deformed watermelon. And he did the headbutt, boom, and it was believable. It depends on the size of your head. I don't know if Danny Garcia needs to be doing a fucking headbutt. He looks like he popped like a pimple. Anyway, the Vin depends on
Well,
whether you
yeah.
have a soft
How are you
hand
gonna
or a
limit
hard
somebody's
hand.
speech? Even the promotional, which people you call spam. Let's say that's correct. You can still leave the message. It's just
Jim,
maybe you
on
don't
the
believe that they'll be able to
topic
see
of
it.
AEW, this got into the news, and several listeners have sent over various things about it. Photos from MJF's wedding. Have you seen this?
I just heard about this yesterday. I didn't get my invitation. It must have been lost in the mail. But apparently he married Alicia Atut.
That is right. That is correct. And
She's now Alicia Atut. Fine,
what's his name?
fine. Friedman. Furbag. What is...
Well, you know, it's funny.
He took his name.
It's funny, Jim. The first time I saw, I think either one of them was in a promo together. The one where he called her Tits McGee from Horror Island. That was the first time I saw either one of them, and now they are married. But the
That's
photos,
a good name, Tits McGee. I gotta fucking write that down. Use that somewhere.
well, the photos have gone around. According to Dave Meltzer, apparently MJF is saying that he's not happy about it. That people went on the social media pages of various friends and family and distributed the pictures. But these pictures.
Well, wait a minute. Now, are you mad? Are you mad then at the people that walked through the parking lot, found the lost money, and gave it to charity? Or are you mad at the people that were careless and lost the money in the parking lot to begin with?
This is Buick. Now. Buick. Exceptional by design.
Get 0.9% APR on these 2025 Buick models. Plus, current eligible non-GM owners get up to $3,000 allowance on Encore GX.
Who's ready to see some tasty touchdowns? It's crunch time. Ooh, hands like honey. Nothing lucky about that catch. Justin just left him in his center dust. Oh! Now that's one tasty touchdown.
Huh?
I'm asking you. You're the.
I just asked you a question.
But I'm turning it around to you. You're the star of our show.
Then he ought to be pissed off at his friends and had to plaster it all over social media if he didn't want the goddamn pictures. That's why I had to quit taking pictures. Because people just put them every goddamn where.
Well, Jim, as we're talking about this, some of this needs to be visual, so I've just sent you an email with an image of a group shot, a large AEW contingent, babyface and heel, man,
Exactly.
woman, and human, all together.
Persons with other people.
Various persons here. I've sent you this to your email address, and of course,
It ain't got here yet.
the question the fans are wondering is, what do you think of this going public? The idea that you have this group photo, somehow the groom is not the man in the middle, it's somewhere. But this group photo of everyone from AEW, what are your thoughts on this dissemination?
Well, it just landed here, so I will look at it right now. Jesus Christ, it's a big crowd. Wait a minute, why is Tony Khan next to MJF? Where is the MJF's wife? It's Tony Khan hugging MJF. And then some
Very like-
bald guy that looks like he works for the building is next to Tony and then the wife.
I think that's MJF's father, based on AEW TV in the past.
So Tony got in between MJF and his father at MJF's wedding?
Well, yeah, it looks like an AEW group shot. Of course, Tony wasn't
I
going to
said,
be in the
Tony Schiavone, where does Schiavone live these days? He's still in Charlotte? He live in Atlanta
I
now.
thought he was in Georgia, at least a few
I bet,
years
yeah,
ago.
he's lived in Atlanta in recent times. Where was this wedding? Why would you expect a man the age of Schiavone to fucking travel that far?
Well, if Tony's
Yeah.
Tony Khan's flying everyone in, why not?
Boy, if you weren't married, you were going to get married, and I had to get on a plane to go to your wedding, you wouldn't see me at your wedding. You know, the good thing about this, though, There's the girls and there's the guys and there's baby faces and heels, but luckily I only know who about 3 of these people are. Tony Schiavone, Danny Garcia tried to peep his way over MJF's shoulder, and otherwise you wouldn't really know who any of these people are if they were walking down the street, so it's not breaking kayfabe.
Well, obviously, Karen Jarrett and Jeff behind her on the right there, and on the left, one of the big things that people are complaining about, or at least people are talking about.
Wait a minute, I see Karen now. I didn't know that was Jeff, but see, it's a very small photo. But I thought that was Kenny Rogers or a Kenny Rogers impersonator rather than Jeff Jarrett.
But Hangman Adam Page is in this photo. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, who's the guy that either looks like a Vivid Video porn agent or a wannabe Barry Gibb on the left, right next to Page? Who is that?
I believe that's Kip Sabian and Penelope.
Well, Pip looks bigger than he does on television, I guess just next to all these people that are smaller. What did you ask about? Oh, but Page shouldn't be there with MJF, should he? Aren't they mad at each other?
They're in a feud. They're in a top feud. Page is the babyface AEW champion who's been having these issues with MJF, and this photo gets
Well,
out.
no wonder he's standing all the way 10 feet away with like 8 or 10 people in between. So thankfully, elsewise, the whole thing could have degenerated into a brawl.
Is this an issue? Should it be an issue?
Well, yeah, it's not an issue that they all went to the wedding. It's an issue that none of these dumb shits are smart enough not to put pictures of baby faces and heels up on Facebook or wherever for everybody to see it. But you don't expect anything different because most of this generation thinks there's nothing wrong with it and hasn't been taught proper. And apparently nobody in this generation has been taught how to take a good picture or how to pose a large group either. Because half these people, you can't even see who the fuck it is. Their heads are obscure, their faces are obscure, many of them, their appearance is improved by that method, but goddamn, what you needed to do was get the tallest people to stand up in the back, and then get the shortest people to kneel down in the front, and then get the medium people to stand in the middle, and now you don't have to go out so wide, and you can get a little closer on people's faces. There are pictures of the moon that are farther away than it is. These people are not recognizable. There's terrible photography. Did they pay this person?
Again, I don't know who's taking. I have no idea what the hell.
Well, how did you get this picture?
Because it's all over the internet.
Were you there?
Jim
I
Cornette.
certainly was not.
Well, it would have been a bigger haul also if you'd had anything to do with it. It looks like they're in the goddamn breezeway of a Hilton Garden Inn.
Well, listen, the question has come up. What would Bill Watts do? How would Bill
He'd have
Watts?
come in there with a big stick and walked tall and knocked the punch over. Taken a big piece of cake and fired everybody, or at least fined them $50.
The idea of baby faces and heels, let alone the top baby face, and you can argue one of the top heels were feuding with each other, both being there. Tony Khan jumped into the fray and said, Alicia is a great person, and the fan favorites came to support her on her big
Say it
night.
to my face.
Now that's a Bill Watts explanation.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Is that acceptable to Watts?
No, that explanation would, the only connection to Bill Watts would be it smelled as bad as one of Bill Watts' jockstraps. No, that's ridiculous. And also, nobody knows who Alicia is because she's only on the Saturday night show that when she interviews people for 30 seconds, and so it's not like she would engender this goddamn outpouring of. And besides, why would they have to go to support her? Because they realize she's making a mistake of her life, marrying a weasel like MJF? Why didn't they just elope?
Yes, I remember you playing. Yeah, what a scary profile. One second, we're gonna see what that guy's all about actually. Let me see his channel. I think I forgot to subscribe to it last time. Let me grab your channel, playa. Go to his channel. What the fuck? You got 51 subbies? Where were the fuck are we supposed to go? Let me see here. Subscribe to that channel, but I don't think that's. The Asylum at Steveville, right here. Copy. Well, that's more like it. It's got 4,000 subbies on this one. Almost 5,000. Touch grass. Huh. I don't know if I want to touch grass. I don't know. Actually, I just subscribed to it, so let's look at his channel. Look at it on here. I ain't gonna turn on the audio though. I'll look at it. Oh, it looks like just a panel channel. No, it looks like different people. Most likely. mean, I can find people all day. That's the easy part. I don't know. Probably not the best idea, honestly. Whoever comes here naturally is probably the safest way for me. Because, eventually they will start, if I get too many people over here, they would start swatting me for fun. So. Goose Wayne? The goose? I don't know, play. It's probably not the safest though for this channel. I've probably been pretty lucky actually that people haven't found it. There's a good chance I can start getting messed with if they wanted. I mean, obviously by the flags, I don't really mind, but it's, I don't think they're gonna find this location, but they could do it while I'm walking. Maybe I'd have to start running and jogging, just so they couldn't catch me. I don't get, tackled though. They're like, stop! Stop, you maniac! Think so? I don't know. I'm no longer doing really troll stuff, so on this channel. Still got the troll judging videos, a few of them still up. But we're doing a lot more exercise nowadays. Maybe I should really try to get a whole bunch of people to notice me. I should put Scott's and Walker, someone walking. They'll watch the videos and be like, oh, you must be the guy that makes the videos. How dare you record my house? I'm suing you. Really? Maybe at some point play it, but it probably won't be Batman. Okay, maybe for a day. I'll switch it to Batman. But we're gonna probably switch to Wisconsin Walker or something like that. Walks with Wisconsin. What the hell are you talking about? You got 14 subs, Mr. Bart. I don't know if Theo's ever come back. I think this might be her longest break. Well, she's taken like long breaks. But longest break in the last 3 months. She was kind of visiting every day. And now, I think she's got to work or something. Or they're upset with me. Busy. Hold on, 3. No stolen content like you, Bart. I made that content. Did I use Vsauce's audio? Sure, but it's open. It's in the short library. Really? That is an idea. I'm gonna have to make up scripts though, Playa. I guess I could try to make it off the top of my head, but it'd be better if I scripted it. Do I? I agree. Perfect voice. I used to steal microphones for a living. That's interesting. What did you say? What? Can't you say it in whatever language you speak? Say it in Dutch. Can you imagine, Bart? You don't even speak English normally, do you? Do you guys speak English normally, or is it just Dutch? That's such the weirdest thing. Mr. Led and Mr. Bart, you guys are just speaking different languages most of the day. Everyone here learned English in school and from TV. Oh. But no, when you're speaking to people, like when you go downstairs, are you speaking Dutch or English? Oh, okay. Really? That's gotta be the weirdest thing, Playa. You should just record shorts of that. I bet people would watch it. But then you're kind of wiretapping every single, or recording every conversation. I don't know how legal that is. No, probably take a few hour walk. We'll have to see. See how I'm feeling. Because it is pretty nice actually. We should have jogged today, to be honest. But it's really nice actually.
Few hours.
Maybe play. We'll see. Might just be a couple hours, maybe an hour and 30 minutes. Matters how nice it is. How I'm feeling up there. Tell you, we did over 1 hour. One of these days, really gotta jog. The hour, 30 minutes. Gotta get her done. I gotta get back into it. Well, soon I'm gonna have to quit anyway, just because of the temperature. But be good to get a little bit in there. Water sprinklers just turned on. We're gonna get an hour on this at least. So another 10 minutes at least. I already drank like 6 coffee this morning. Smoked 7 margaritas. I go there split. That's a lot, playa. How many did you do on that stream? On StreamYard, you did like 2? Playa, you were power puffing.
This one.
You gonna drink water? Some good water though, Clay. My stomach's fucked. Ears are fucked. My neck is fucked. Damn, Clay. Are your social workers at least getting effed? I'm kidding. That was a bad joke. Damn, but sounds like everybody's getting screwed but you. Or maybe you're the one getting screwed the most. I hear you play. Why did you even get social workers in the first place, play? Like when you were little or something? I got screwed good. I hear you play. I don't know, play. Long story. It all started when I was born. I just had a little bit of autism, but just enough to give me a free house. There you go, play. And you weren't used to having to protect what you say? Well, yeah, I think you got trapped. You know, probably shouldn't say it, but really, the free income. Really? Damn. Yeah, it sounds like it, but
I win. I know. If you're so eager to die, who am I to stand in your way? I'll be eating you soon. Let's see how much you like dancing.
going to do with that monster?
What do you think? I'm going to eat it, of course. Big breakfast.
What exactly do you mean when you say breakfast?
Lunch, dinner, breakfast. You're strange, and they say I'm primitive. I choose.
My dad just went to the manager there and said, look, this is my son. You gotta give me free money. And I got free money for the rest of my life. That's awesome play. Then you got all these social workers playing. You gotta watch out what you say. Or else they lock you up all the time. Went to the social workers and said, my son is autistic. You gotta give him a free house. Okay. You don't have to sit in a house smoking marijuana all day. This is a sunrise happened today. Is it all the way up to like 650? Check. Oh, 6:44. So for me, it's got an hour. Okay, I did over an hour on this, but we're gonna walk outside. Go look at the lake or whatever. I just move the camera.
So dark.
This thing kind of glitched. Let me refresh this. But it's official, players. No more blisters. I got some skin. I'm just hanging skin off of it, but that's about it. That's pretty good, actually. Took about a week to heal. Yeah, they're all gone. There's obviously loose skin. I could just rip it off though. But I don't know, playa. Eat a lot of meat and vegetables. I must be doing something proper. I'm a fast healer right now. this the data. Let's see, am I still getting free service on this? How the hell? You know, I basically have a phone with unlimited service for the last 2 months. I didn't pay for it. It's wild. Okay. Well, let's walk for a few hours, I guess. I'll have to see. Oh, shoot. Yeah, a few hours, I guess. I also need my keys and so on. Locked out. Well, she's dark, but feels real nice.